What makes a great story exceptional and memorable for years versus an ordinary story which is quickly forgettable? Yeah, there can be several reasons, but I believe the most important is bringing that story to life through dialogue. How do you do that? Well, that's the subject of this video. Hi, I'm Michael Davis of Speaking CPR. In my last couple of videos, you heard about the concept of the 2-minute story, how it can be impactful, help you stand out from the crowd, and create a desire for other people to hear more about what you do. Well, the way that works in those 2-minute stories is through the use of dialogue. Most speakers and storytellers, and even salespeople, tell their stories in what I call narration fashion. They'll say, Bob did this, Joe said this. The best way to convey the feeling of a story is to actually put people in the scene. What this means is you've got to let the characters say the words they said instead of you reporting on them. For example, in my video, a couple videos ago, I talked about my dad setting the foundation for my business philosophy in the way he acted during difficult times, stressful times. If you remember, I talked about being 11 years old on a day in Cincinnati when tornadoes were all over the place, and I was scared. And in that scene, I said, Dad, we've got to get to the shelter now. And he very calmly reached out, put a hand on my shoulder and said, just wait, Mike. That tornado that you see, it's 10 miles away. It's really far. And I think it looks like it's about to break apart. Sure enough, it did. Now, I put you in that scene. I could have said that day I was really nervous and I wanted to run to the shelter, but my dad calmed me down with some very soothing words. Are the facts correct? Absolutely. But you don't feel that scene, do you, when I just report what happened? By sharing with you what my dad said and the way he said it, don't you feel like you were there? Do you also think about someone in your life, maybe your dad, a grandfather, other male figure, who had a calming impact in your world? And that's really what this is designed to do. It's not designed to have you get to know my dad. It's designed to bring you into my world temporarily so you can then think about someone that had a calming effect in your life. When that's done properly, you make a deeper connection with the listener. Another example from my dad's story is when the 30-year-old or 30-something man walked up to Dad in the Fridays lobby and told him, Mr. Davis, you had such an impact on my life. You gave me confidence that I didn't know I had when I was 14 years old. And your class actually shaped the direction of my career. And I just want to thank you. I could have reported that a young man came up to my dad and thanked him for all he'd done when the young man was in my dad's 8th grade biology class. Factually, it's correct, but you don't get the emotion of the scene, do you? And you don't feel the impact that my dad, the teacher, had on one of his students. So if you want to bring your story to life and stand out, use dialogue instead of narration. What you'll find is that people are drawn to you faster and at a deeper level, and they're much more likely to ask you to either have a second meeting if you're in a sales situation or ask you back to speak. A short 2-minute story can sell people on the idea that they need to see you more or hear you speak more. And that's the power of the 2-minute story when you bring it to life. Until next time, always remember you have a story that someone needs to hear. Tell that story well, and you'll impact more lives than you can ever imagine. See you next time.